So you're looking to sell your house, but getting a home ready for market, it can be tough. It can be a challenge.
It can be intimidating. So why not get help from someone who cares about families like yours?
Yeah, here to tell us a little bit more, Realtor Troy Trumm with Keller Williams Realty. Welcome back, Troy. Good to see you.
Good looking fam you've got there.
Oh, thank you. They make me look good.
Well, listen, there's a lot of people out there looking to sell their homes, a lot of buyers out there too in particular, but let's go over some of the things you need to think about when you're going to sell your home. What are some of the top things on your list that you should really think about?
Well, the most important things to do when getting a home ready are first have the home pre-inspected and have it professionally staged.
So what do you mean by pre-inspected? Because most people think that the inspection phase doesn't come in until you've already got an offer and can you walk us through that?
Well, typically a buyer will do their own home inspection, but having a pre-inspection is when the seller has their own inspection before the home goes on the market. It gives them a chance to find any problems with the home and address those issues before a buyer finds them in their inspection, because you don't want the buyer to find problems and then use them as a leverage against the seller or as a reason to back out of the purchase.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of the mistakes that people make. And one of them is kind of what you mentioned, but do you have a list of things that people typically do that maybe they shouldn't be doing before they put their house on the market?
Well, I'd say the biggest mistake is rushing to get the home on the market. The less time you spend getting a home ready, the longer it's going to sit on the market. The more time you invest up front, the faster it's going to sell and the more it's going to sell for. For example, I had a client recently that we spent several weeks getting his home ready, but when it went on the market, we had 2 offers within the first 3 days. Now, that seller had tried 6 times in the past to sell the home with 6 different agents, and he said it never sold because none of them had given him advice on what to do to prepare the home.
You mentioned staging. Staging, there's decorating.
That's a critical aspect, staging your home.
Right. Yeah. What is the difference between staging and decorating, and how do people know where to start when it comes to staging? Do they do it themselves? Do you help refer them?
Well, on my team, I have a professional stager. This is what she does for a full-time living. But the difference between staging and decorating is the expression of somebody's personal style, whereas staging is the a marketing process really to promote the features of the home, highlight the aspects that are going to attract buyers. It's really more like marketing of the home. It's marketing done within the home to promote those features of the home.
Yeah, but it's so personal, though. I mean, your home is so personal, and in many cases, you've spent years, getting your house the way you want it. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's the furniture arrangement or certain pieces in there. Maybe it's some of the art on the walls. And so getting people to think about it from a buyer's perspective, it's a little bit different because it can be so personal. So what do you tell your sellers?
Well, that's true. Sometimes they are hesitant about making changes. When I meet with a seller, though, I sit down with them, explain to them the process, find out what their concerns are, what's important to them, to try to put them at ease. I explain to them what they have control over and what they don't have control over. And I think that makes them feel more comfortable about moving forward.
What do you think about, because I don't want to change topics, I want to get to, what do you think about personal pictures, family pictures that are littered all over the walls? What do you do in that aspect? Because, somebody could say, oh, that's kind of insulting. You want me to take some of these pictures down to sell my house?
Well, you decorate a home for how you're going to live in it, not for how you're going to sell it. When it comes time to sell it, the home's a product, not a home. And those family photos, they distract buyers when they walk through the home. Natural tendency of a buyer when they see a family photo is to stop and look at it. But this takes attention off the home and puts it on the photo. You want buyers' attention to always be on the home itself.
Yeah, and it kind of makes the buyer feel like, well, they can't vision themselves in that home because it's like, well, this is their home. Yeah, it's their home. And that's one of the first things I did when I sold my house in Lincoln. I took down all my pictures and kind of made it, I kind of staged it so that somebody could feel like it could be their home someday.
Right. Yeah, those photos really underscore the feeling for a buyer that they're in somebody else's home, and which makes it more difficult for them to envision it as their own.
There's kind of an emotional attachment to some things. I have a room, my guest room used to be a nursery, and one of my friends painted this, incredible like farm mural. So now when my grown-up guests come into my house, because I can't paint over it. I mean,
well, it's sentimental.
It is sentimental, and that was hours of work from someone. Do you find that people are kind of attached to some things like that, and how do you work them through it? Because I'm guessing you wouldn't advise me to sell my house with a farm mural.
Probably not.
It's
paint over the farm mural?
Well, the really comes down to the goal is getting the home sold. You're not going to take the mural with you, so it really doesn't matter if you paint over it because it's not going to be your home after the sale goes through.
Can we talk about improvements? What are some of the top improvements you would make if it was 1 or 2 things that you could tell a seller, hey, do this, do that? What are a couple top improvements?
Well, the improvements to get you the best return on your investment are new carpet, paint, and updating fixtures. While these improvements are relatively inexpensive to make, they have a big impact on how the home's perceived. The other thing to focus on is cleaning the house. The house should be cleaner than it's ever been before, because a home that's really clean stands out from the competition.
If my house was really clean, I probably wouldn't want to
Exactly. If
move.
it was that clean, like, I'm staying here, right?
You mentioned things that sellers have control over and things that they don't. What are some of those things?
Well, they have control over two primary factors that affect the odds of their home selling. The first is the condition of the home. We already talked about the steps of getting the home in the best condition. The second is price. That's where an experienced agent with expert information comes in. If a seller invests the time up front, then they're going to get a best return when it comes to selling. Those people that rush to get a home on the market and cut corners and getting it ready, they're going to be shortchanged on the price they get for the home.
Well, these are all great tips that people thinking about selling their home or people in that process can use to get that home sold a little bit quicker. And we couldn't let you go without telling our viewers where they can get a hold of you. Troy Trumm at trummteam.com, 402-884-4848. And I assume you're looking for buyers and sellers all at the same time.
We're happy to help anybody.
Pre-inspectors, stagers, all ready to help. That's what the Trumm
That's
Team's
right.
all about.
Thanks,
Thanks.
to see
Good
you
advice today. Listen to him. Don't listen to us with our pictures and our farm murals.